So here's the drawing paper. This is my rough sketch for today's cartoon. So it's going to be the Michigan elephant. Michigan being the big Republican Governor Rick Snyder, who appointed the terrible manager that destroyed the water supply in Flint, ignoring all the advice to do the right thing. So he's pooping. Other side of the wall comes out as drinking fountain for the little girl. That will be today's concept. Okay, so this is going to have to pay attention to where things are in this composition. So here's the wall between the bathroom and the little girl. The little girl's got the floor. The bathroom needs a bit of a raised foundation in order to show the plumbing under the foundation. What's happening in Michigan is that Rick Snyder and his Republican crew are doing their best to diffuse blame away from themselves and to being more of blame the White House, blame the EPA, blame the Obama administration. And it was the Snyder administration that made the Flint takeover happen and appointed the bad city manager, who also, I guess, went on to do a bad job taking over the bankrupt Detroit City Schools. And so I'm drawing this cartoon to point some more blame back at the Republicans. And so it's kind of in response to their now blame Obama. It wasn't our fault, when I would say it was pretty much their fault. Yep, Obama's fault too, but lay the blame where the blame falls closest to home. So that's why it is the Republican poopin'. Do I like his hands where they are? Next question. If they weren't there, have a little bit of bumpy belly there. Out West Matt writes, do you find it easier to draw animal caricatures or people? Oh, the animals are much easier. You don't have to get things right on animals. Whatever I draw looks fine. Animals are much more forgiving than people. So when I do drawings for books or at conventions and things, I typically will draw just donkeys and elephants because they're easy. They don't put me under any stress. I can draw them very quickly. Wonder if I should give her some crosshatch. Maybe I will. This is a silly cartoon. I can do silly stuff. Give her a bigger bow. Bow is funny. Okay, animal, elephant expression, and smile. Let's reconsider that. He's smiling because he's bad. Beardwords writes, will there be stink lines, or is it too graphic for the papers? Where would you put stink lines? Stink lines from the cup to her nose? Actually, stink lines, you call stink lines a wafteroon. That's a good word to learn for today. Wafteroon. So typically with a wafteroon, you've got a pie. Give you a little cartoon lesson. And you've got someone's nose. And the wafteroon comes off of the pie and goes underneath the nose. That is a wafteroon. So, yes, a Mort Walkerism. So, you know, the Mort Walkerisms have been accepted. So if I had a wafteroon, it would have to go here under her nose. I don't think that's working. If I had a wafteroon coming off of his poop, I'm not sure where I would go with that. So I think I am wafteroonless on this drawing. Writes, do you keep a sketchbook with your ideas and then sketch them in final form? I tend to draw them messy on a napkin and transfer them to sticky notes. As you can see, this is my sketch for this cartoon on the sticky note. Little Lady writes, I'm an aspiring cartoonist in my school's paper. What medium do you use to color your cartoons? I use Photoshop. This one is actually much easier for me to draw than the other ones that I've been drawing recently that have all of those caricatures in them, which take me so much time to get right and futzing back and forth. Without any caricatures, it goes pretty easily. Funky Monkey writes, sounds like you press quite hard with the pencils. How do they last so long? Well, look, this is my pencil. It's 4H. It's a hard pencil. Most people use number 2 pencils. That's a 3 pencil. Yeah, these are really soft to me. This one's harder. Anyway, the point with drawing with a pencil for me is to have the freedom of drawing with a pencil, a little bit looser feeling of the pencil as opposed to ink, but at the same time to come up with an end product that looks like I inked it, because there's an expectation that a cartoon's going to be inked, you know. There's a expectation of look. And in the newspaper, if you have an inked kind of look, a hard line look, the printing is just so bad in newspapers. You got to design for the worst possible printing. And what can I say? I like for it to look like I draw in ink. I like to fool people into thinking I draw in ink, but I have no secrets when I stream. You get to see every little detail of what I do. Boy, I got the perspective wrong on the toilet base, didn't I? Looking at one side and not at the other. That way. What I'm looking for is nonchalant, depraved indifference. There, does that look nonchalant and depraved? A little bit. I like the asymmetry going on with his eyes. And even though I draw with a pencil, I would be lost without the Wacom tablet, because I do all of this color stuff and clean up on the Wacom tablet. What I'm doing now is cleaning up the hickeys. And I find that even if I were to draw in pen, I have just as many hickeys to clean up as when I draw in pencil. So it's not really a savings, even though you think the drawing would be cleaner. Perhaps it is, but then you get your rough sketch stuff on there showing through. I also come through and clean up little bits of the drawings that I should have done a little more elegantly when I do the cleanup. So am I happy with the gimpy eye? That's a question. Not sure I'm happy with it or not. Maybe that's a little better. So this housekeeping stuff does take a while. And you know, not all of it is housekeeping. Some of it is making the drawing a little more right than it was the first time. Cleaning up the little bits of crud, the little places where my drawing isn't quite as elegant as it should have been. When I'm done with this house cleaning, I will start coloring. But it's good to spend some time on the house cleaning. Make sure things are right. Peter Blake, did you select on the top bar and then color range to get rid of the little black dirt? You can pick exactly the range within a color. Well, yeah, I went through a few settings on set the contrast and switched it to being 100% black after I bumped up the contrast a few times with an eye to cleaning out the muck. But you know, I don't want to clean it out too much because I don't want to lose the quality of the lighter lines. So I'm going to beef it up a little bit. So it's a matter of compromise. If I clean it up very forcefully with those settings, then I lose the lighter pencil lines. So better to deal with a little bit of muck and keep the line quality true to what I drew. It's not bad. You notice a lot of things I'm cleaning up are things that I actually did, that I can't blame on the world.